Joanne, I'm curious what your take is on this particular offering. It has a particularly unique governance structure, and of course, there are still questions around what the right comparable would be in terms of trying to find a multiple on this stock.
Yeah, I think that what's really interesting about Palantir is, you raised those excellent points, but what I think is very interesting here is how investors are going to value it and what happens after an election. I mean, we have to think about, why did they go public right now? They've been, it's been 17 years. They've never turned a profit. We're not talking 5 or 10 years. We're talking 17 years with no profit. But it's a company that is very, very closely aligned with the Trump administration. You've got Peter Thiel, a co-founder, who's been one of his biggest supporters of the president. And then you've got the work that the company does, which is extremely opaque, but seems to work with a lot of the Trump administration's sort of favorite projects. We're looking at immigration, ICE. It works with the military, with intelligence. And, the CIA was an early seed investor. And so I think there's a huge question here about what happens if Trump does not win the presidency. You can certainly understand why they chose right now to go public, because Trump is still firmly in office. I do think there's big questions what happens after an election.
Okay, I want to go to Alex, but having covered this company for a very, very long time, Joanne, I will take the other side of that argument with you, which is I think this has nothing to do with the Trump presidency at all. Alex Karp, the co-founder of the company, the man who actually runs the company, is publicly anti-President Trump. He has publicly come out and said he did not vote for President Trump and does not want to vote for President Trump in the future. And so the idea that their business somehow has grown as a function of this administration, I think, in truth, is a bit of a myth. But let me talk to Alex about sort of where he may have a different view. Alex, I think there's lots of risks to this company, but I don't think it's the president.
Right. I mean, look, I won't say that they got $800 million from the Department of Defense after Peter Thiel publicly took a bet on Trump. So to say there's no link to me doesn't really feel right. But on the other hand, they've been working on this for 17 years. It's not as if this business just emerged yesterday and has only now started to figure it out. In fact, I don't really think they figured it out. They were worth $20 billion in 2015. Their public market valuation is now around $21 billion. You would have invested in the Vanguard stock total index fund. You would have made 80% on your money versus, potentially losing money on Palantir. So, I don't know. I don't really find this to be a strong stock. I think there is that risk with the election that Joanne mentioned, but there's plenty of other risk as well. And to say it's just one thing, to me, misses the bigger picture, which to me, I think that this is just a weak company.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.